Welcome back, everybody, to the second part of this Dreams and Visions series. And in part 2 we spoke about mermaids, or the water spirits. Now, if you have not watched part 1, please go back to YouTube and first watch that video and then come back to watch this one, because they go hand in hand. So we were talking about water spirits, and in particular mermaids that people have in dreams. And I just want to share something with regards to religion and different kinds of people all over the world, what they think about mermaids. So many Catholic cathedrals are built on fountains to be connected to water spirits, since the water spirits are mostly females, denoting a connection to Mother Mary, who is a female, but you do also find male water spirits. The Zionists in South Africa and other places of the world also has a lot to do with water spirits. And particularly in Central Africa, some cultures believe that when you see a mermaid, that it will bring you luck. In many cultures there are Inyanga herbalists and witch doctors, fetish priests and sangomas, who take young girls to the river and marry them with water spirits through water rituals and water witching. Afterwards, these girls become prostitutes and lesbians. Many of these water spirits are called mammy water spirits, especially in the Ivory Coast or the Queen of the Sea. Now, the Queen of the Sea is perfect apparently and beautiful, and makes promises to young girls to be rich and have many men. They also believe what the Queen tells them, which is that they will always remain beautiful and be rich. The Queen of the Sea is a demonic spirit and is out to destroy. If a woman marries a man, then she is barren or has miscarriages, because she was promised and initiated with rituals to this Queen of the Sea water spirit. So she will have miscarriages and never have babies, and she will be very unhappy in her marriage. Or sometimes they become prostitutes and they can never stay faithful to just one man. Sexual immorality is a character of the Queen of the Sea, and there are always demonic sexual relationships that occur where she is involved. In certain cultures, the mermaid is a sign of potent female energy. Certain African water creatures or familiar witches said to be mermaids that are living south of the Zambezi River, according to the Shona peoples, who has always associated mermaids with pools and rivers. There is a story about a young girl that was saved by a baptizer from the mermaids who wanted to take her into a deep well in the Congo. In the Ivory Coast, it is told that newborn babies, only the firstborn, are thrown into the sea. The baby is given as a sacrifice and should return after 3 days. But if the baby dies and drowns and does not return, then they accept it as a sacrifice to appease the gods or the water spirits. The great Khafu river monster, known as Itoshi, is a 50-foot creature with a crocodile's body, the fins of a fish, and apparently a human's head. He takes people into the depths of the riverbed after capturing them. The Lala peoples in South Zambia fear the babuka, different fabulous animals that live in pools, lakes, trees and forests. If you want to know more, you can go and read Shaka by Thomas Mafolo, who writes about the Lord of the Deep Waters. The Lala people also believe that these water spirits are ancestors or spirits of the dead, since after death the chief enter the water and become these monsters. While in the Lesotho highlands, the people worship the rain goddess. They satisfy her with different kinds of offerings and rituals, asking for good rain and crops. And newborn babies are taken to the river for water cleansing. They take the umbilical cord and place it into the waters to tie the newborn to water spirits or water gods. Some of these tribes have totems depicting water spirits at the place where they are staying. Well, as I said in the first video, it is amazing to see how many people have dreams about water spirits and mermaids. And if we look at how many people there is in the world that believe in these water spirits, it is no wonder that people perish due to a lack of knowledge of God and His Word. The world should really start giving attention to God's warning in His Word in Hosea 4 verse 6, where He says that the people perish due to a lack of knowledge of His kingdom. Okay, so before we continue about mermaids, let's talk about mythology. Legends, stories, traditions, folklore, and fables that has to do with water spirits and mermaids. Well, as I said, water spirits appear in many myths and legends, especially from German people. Sometimes they appear in man-like shape, but mostly as beautiful women with long hair and fins instead of legs. In British storytelling, the mermaid is an ominous creature which creates havoc, brings destruction, and provokes doom. She's also said to devour ships and crewmen, since the mermaid could be up to 150 feet long. And as I said in the first video, the Animal Planet has recently posted footage of real mermaids under the sea, which can be seen on videos. They see them swimming, so go and look for it on the internet. Type in mermaids real, and then you'll find a few videos there. In English folklore, there are many water creatures like the mermaids, many of which are well known, such as Jenny Greenteeth, the Peg Powler, the Grindylow, and the Shellycoat. The Yellow Fairy book by Andrew Land includes the Nixie of the Millpond. Well, let's talk about Scandinavia. There are water lilies in Scandinavia that are called Nix roses due to a tale told from the forest of Tiv Eden. A poor fisherman once had a beautiful daughter. He didn't catch much fish to provide for his family, and one day a nix offered to help him if he promises that the nix could have the beautiful daughter when she was at the age of 18. So the desperate fisherman had no choice and agreed to the deal. At 18, the girl had to go to the lake to meet the nix, and upon seeing him, she took a knife out and said that she would never have her alive. She would rather kill herself than be married to a nix, and then she stabbed herself and died in the lake. And her blood covered the white water lilies around, coloring them red from that day forward. Well, as I said, it's just a story, but it's interesting nonetheless. Let's talk about another few water spirits. The Grimms and Fosse Grimm were male water spirits who played the violin so enchanting that women and children, and sometimes other men, would enter the water to hear the luring music and then drown. Especially unbaptized children and pregnant women were lured by his enchanting music. This is why he is an omen of drowning accidents. He will call a spot on the river or lake, and later someone would drown there. It is said that he was singing and playing on Christmas Eve, Midsummer's nights, and also on Thursdays. Well, I don't know why, but that is what it is. Other stories tell that they were harmless, and they were apparently a Fosse Grimm that fell in love with a human, but eventually he had to return to his home in the water again, otherwise he would die. It is believed that these water spirits played so nicely that the trees danced to their music and waterfalls stopped when they played. The myth tells that if you brought him a black animal, some vodka, 3 drops of blood, and wet snuff, and then dropped it into the water, that he would agree to teach you his music. Well, it sounds a little bit stupid, but it's a story, a myth in any way, about water spirits. So the Grimms could change the shape of their bodies at any time into a floating object or treasure, and mostly would appear in elegant clothing, sitting by brooks and waterfalls playing the violin. From time to time he would shape into a river horse, also known as the brook horse. The Grimm also sang about his loneliness and his longing for salvation in later romantic folklore. But he would never receive salvation since he was not a child of God, according to the poem, and you can go and read it, by the Swedish poet E.J. Stagnelius. The brook horse, known as Bakkahastan, look at the spelling on the screen, is the horse like the Scottish Kelpie into which the Grimm changed. He was a white horse that appeared near brooks and rivers, especially with foggy weather. This horse would wait for someone to climb on him, then jump onto the river and drown the rider, since once they climb on the horse they could not get off again. Now let us have a look at the Congolese mermaid. Mother Water, or also called Mami Wata, appears to be an exotic long-haired mermaid, also known as La Serene, that lives in West Africa, where her other name is Mamba Muntu, which means a snake, or in the Swahili tribe of Zambia and Congo, it is a crocodile, and is recognized as a snake charmer like the old seductive witches or familiar witches of the tribe. Other names by which she is famous is the Fish Lady or Madame Le Poison by the Kolwezi people. Legend says she is the wife of a zookeeper. In Lusaka, she is regarded as a mermaid or a water spirit with an evil spirit that causes destruction and much confusion. They say it is death to meet her in person, and she imprisons people's shadows so that they follow her into rivers and lakes. The locals believe that she is found in Lake Kashiba and Lake Mweru, that is by the Victoria Falls. She would seduce men and then destroy them or place an evil spirit on them so that they are infatuated by her and then leave their own wives. It appears that she has a large snake wound on her body. There are very old wooden carvings of Mami Wata from southern Nigeria since 1901, and there was many art pieces portraying her until she was replaced in the 1980s with scenes from the Old Testament and Jesus Christ, hallelujah, who is now the most influential figures for paintings and artworks and sculptures in that area. So hallelujah, Jesus replaced the water spirits. Praise God. Right, Alexander the Great had a sister called Thessalonica that changed into a mermaid after her death, and the legend tells that she lives in the Aegean Sea. She would ask sailors the following question: is King Alexander alive? If they answered correctly the following sentence, he lives and reigns and conquers the world, then she would calm the seas and bid them farewell. On the other hand, if they did not answer correctly, she would stir up a storm and drown the whole ship and all aboard. Well, as I said, legends and fables and stories. Before the mid-19th century, sailors referred to sirens or sirenia as mermaids. The Rhine maidens in the German, also called the Nix and Nixie, early 1180 to 1200s and 10s, round about there, are types of river mermen and mermaids from the Danube River that became water spirits. And they are similar to the Fossegrim, the Celtic Messoline, and the Greek Siren. They would also play music to attract people so that they can walk into the water and drown. The Nix males with a slit ear could change into many shapes like fishes, snakes, and humans, and even females, while the females were beautiful women with the tail of a fish. In certain stories they are dangerous, and in others they are friendly. They are said to be the guardians of the Rhine gold treasure, which is gold that is hidden in the Rhine River. A famous mermaid from German folklore is Lorelei, who sat on a rock at the Rhine, and today that river is named after her, the Rhine River, and lured fishermen and boatmen with her beautiful voice. In Switzerland, there is a similar legend of a mermaid living in Lake Zug doing the same. Well, Messoline was a well-known European water spirit living in freshwater springs and rivers. In some pictures, she has wings. Apparently, she grew up in the Isle of Avalon, and her father was human while her mother was a fae. According to the myth, her human father betrayed the mother, and Messoline wanted to revenge her mother, but the mother cursed her to have a tail of a serpent from the waist down. She had scales on her hands and arms, and she remained like that forever. Another story tells of a girl who was farming near a lake where the brook horse resides. He came out to try and trick her to climb on him to drown her, but she knew who he was. As he came closer, she took the bridle and shouted, "Away, you scoundrel, or you'll plough so much you'll never forget it." And the moment she prophesied this, the brook horse changed places with her farm horse and ploughed the fields with great speed forever. After ploughing, he headed for the lake with the plough and the girl hanging on. The girl, realizing that she would drown, took a piece of steel and made a sign of the cross of Jesus Christ. And immediately she was able to be released from him and fell to the ground. And the horse disappeared into the lake, knowing that his trick has failed. Well, isn't it amazing to see that even in myths and legends, the cross of Jesus Christ still brings salvation and deliverance to children of God who calls upon his name through his sacrifice on the cross. Let us have a look at Romans 10:13. For everyone who calls upon the name of the Lord, invoking him as Lord, will be saved. Okay, so dreaming of mermaids are mostly negative, as I said in the first video. There were more than 172 emails that I received with regards to dreams of mermaids, and most of them were very long. That's why it's just too much to mention on a video like this. But did you know the truth about mermaids are totally the opposite of how directors claim mermaids to be in movies? If we look at, for instance, The Little Mermaid 1 and 2, where Ariel assumes human form to gain the love of the human prince Eric. Note also A Serenade of Mermaid, Tales from Around the World by Shirley Clemo, and also the movie Aquamarine, a story about a girl at daytime that changes into a mermaid at night. You know, it's dangerous to show these things to little girls because they love these mermaids because they look so beautiful and they could be initiated. So mothers beware. Medieval churches used the mermaids as symbols showing the dangers of alluring fleshly desires and worldly pleasures. Did you know that the Persian word maneli means both mermaid and also stay with me? So you can see the connotation there. In Shikoku, Japan, there is a 6-feet Mammoth mermaid, also known as the Fiji mermaid. And you can actually go and have a look at it where it is in one of the places there. In Japan, mermaids are seen as a religious deity known as Ningyo Shinko, or mermaid religion. In many Buddhist temples and Shinto shrines, there are mummified mermaids for people to come and worship during the day. Norfolk, Virginia also uses mermaids as a symbol. The person coat of arms of Michaela Jean, former Governor General of Canada, featured 2 mermaids as supporters next to her. Well, Mermaid Syndrome, or Serenomelia, is a rare congenital disorder in which a child is born with his or her legs combined together and small genitalia. This condition is as rare as conjoined twins and affecting 1 out of every 100,000 live births, and is most of the times fatal due to kidney or bladder problems. There is only 4 survivors known as of July 2003. While exploring the world, Christopher Columbus reported supposed sightings of mermaids in Canada, Zimbabwe, and Israel. Listen to that. Well, mermaids are a symbol of eloquence and are represented with a comb and mirror, symbolizing vanity. Since the 14th century, the official coat of arms of Warsaw shows a shield and sword-wielding mermaid called Syrenka. Well, there's many paintings of mermaids. You can go and have a look at The Neck and Eger's Daughters in 1850 by Nils Blomme, and Stromkarlen by Ernst Josephson in 1884. Well, that's enough about the mermaids. I just wanted to let you know that if you have dreams of these mermaids, they are very, very dangerous. As I said, mostly it is negative. As I said in the first video, mermaids represent a seducing spirit, killing, deceiving, flirting spirit, barrenness, miscarriages, physical drowning, lying and cunning spirit, destruction, deceiving, judgment coming, slyness, economic loss, and business worries. It is a bad spirit. So if you have a dream of a mermaid or any other kind of water spirits, also frogs, because they're also water spirits on the negative side in the spiritual realm, and if you have these kind of dreams, pray immediately and ask God to deliver you from these dreams and ask Him to take these dreams away from you. So that's all I have for you about the mermaids and other water spirits. I trust that you enjoyed these 2 teachings on them. Next time in the dream series, we will carry on with something else. And so until then, may God bless you, may He keep you, and may He protect you and your family. Remember to stay safe during this time. We love you. Please like our videos, give it a cling, click that notification bell so that you can get more interesting teachings like these, and also subscribe and tell your friends and family to please subscribe, because it does help our channel. I love you all and I'm praying for you, and remember, Jesus Christ is Lord and we love Him and He loved us. That's why He died for us. If you need to get saved, please call our number 074 774 7799 and we will do a prayer with you. May God bless you. Shalom.